Hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. Welcome to Sad Girl Summer. And I use the term sad not because I am sad, because I do not like summer. And I think I have got some sort of form of seasonal affective disorder whereby summer is not for me. But every year, in recent years, I've been really trying to enjoy certain aspects of summer. And just trying to make myself not wish a whole season of every year away. And I had a nice time picking out these books for my summer TBR. And some of them are summery, some of them aren't. Some of them I've sort of highlighted for parts of my summer. And it has made me think, yeah, summer. Maybe it'll be all right this year, she says. It's going to be 31 degrees tomorrow. It's 23 today. It feels so much hotter than that. I've got this industrial fan on me. We've had to turn it off for the time being. All curtains in the whole flat shut. Daphne very unhappy, very hot and bothered. And we're just glugging like iced water like no other. But yeah, here we are to talk about the books that I hope to read throughout the summer. And yeah, I'm really excited about all of them. I'm doing this now because I feel like summer starts for me on the 21st of June. Well, for many people maybe, because that's the summer solstice, isn't it? That's also the day that the days start getting a little bit shorter, isn't it? They start getting shorter every day. And one of the things I don't like about summer is how long the days are. So yeah, so that turning point of June, knowing that we've got to get, the days are going to get shorter. I say it quietly because I know loads of people love summer. I haven't got a bra on today. That's something with, in summer, the most effort I'm going to make is putting on a big pair of earrings. So here I am, no bra, big pair of earrings. Shall we start on the books? Let's. Oh, where to start? Well, I'll tell you what, let's start with proofs. Because I've got a few proof copies of stuff that's come out this year that I simply cannot wait to read. So the first one we've got is Bitter Honey. This actually comes out in June, so this is very recent. And this is by Carol Lewis. And it says here, Hannah has lived at the Berlin Deg all her life. Her husband came to live at the orchard when they got married. Tonight she prepares for his funeral as he lies in the parlour. Over 50 years of marriage, a lifetime of memories dissipating in the impossibility of his stillness. He was a writer and a beekeeper who came to understand the world through the language of bees. He has left her 11 letters, the exact same number as there are frames in a beehive. Each letter is an examination on an aspect of their marriage. The morning of the funeral, Sadie, Hannah's estranged little sister, comes back home for the service. As the letters unfold, they reveal a devastating secret that will make Hannah have to reevaluate her entire life. I mean, that all sounds great, doesn't it? What I think mainly drew me to this is we so rarely hear from protagonists of that age, like someone who's been married for 50 years, so I can only assume that she's in her 70s, maybe late 60s, but that really drew me to it, and particularly those people who are women, so that drew it to me. But the fact of, like, I love books with letters in any way, but the fact that there's sort of a symbolic number of letters, 11 letters, because there's 11 frames in a beehive. Yeah, I'm just really sort of excited about this one. So there we go. Then we've got Sarah Moss's new book, which comes out, do we have a date? Oh, it's already out, 22nd of May. Love Sarah Moss. Her book, Strangers in Iceland, Names for the Sea, is one of my faves. She's got a new memoir coming out, which I'm really excited about. No, she hasn't. Who has? Hannah Kent maybe has got a memoir out about Iceland. But Sarah Moss has also got another memoir out, which is on my Kindle at the moment, so we'll get around to doing that as well. I'm getting my authors mixed up. But this is her book, Ripeness, and it is the 60s, and just out of school, Edith finds herself travelling to rural Italy. Summer! She has been sent by her mother with strict instructions to see her sister through the final weeks of her pregnancy, then make a phone call which will seal this baby's fate and his mother's. Decades later, happily divorced and newly energised, Edith is having a life of contentment and comfort in Ireland. Love books set in Ireland. When her best friend Maeve receives a call from an American man claiming to be her brother, Maeve must decide if she will meet him, and she asks Edith for help. There we go. Simple little blurb, but it sounds great, and I love Sarah Moss's writing, so there we go. And then I've also got Consider Yourself Kissed by Jessica Stanley. This came out in May also. A few people have mentioned this to me recently. I think when I was talking about my best books of the year, I'll link that video down below, a few people were saying, oh, have you read Consider Yourself Kissed? I think you'd really like it. So I will be considering myself reading Consider Yourself Kissed. Here we go. When she first meets Adam, Coralie is new to London and feeling adrift, but Adam is clever, witty, and he insists a 1/4 of an inch taller than the average British male. His charming 4-year-old daughter Zora only adds to his appeal. But 10 years on, something important is missing from the life of Coralie and Adam, the life that Coralie and Adam have built. Or maybe, having gained everything she dreamed of, Coralie has lost something she once had herself. Okay, so this is set very recently, which drew me to it as well. Set against an eventful decade that included the soap opera of 5 prime ministers plus Brexit and COVID, Consider Yourself Kissed puts the subject of love and family on a grand stage, showing how the intimate dramas in our homes inescapably compete for energy and attention with shared public dramas of our times. Told over 10 years of one woman's life, Consider Yourself Kissed is an unforgettable literary love story that effortlessly balances sweetness with bite, the public with the personal, and humour with heart. That sounds great. I'm not going to know which order to read these all in. Then I've got a few book club books to mention. The first one I'll mention is one that I don't have here, and that is Kylie Reid's new book. It's not called Such a Fun Age, is it? That was the first one. Let me find out what it's called. Oh, I can have a look on my Kindle. Because we're reading that for Choir Book Club, and that is in the last, maybe the last Wednesday of July. Can she find it? Come and Get It, it's called. I don't have the blurb because it's on the Kindle. But I really did enjoy Such a Fun Age. And when I read Such a Fun Age, I listened to the audiobook of it, and I remember thinking, oh, this would be a great book club book. So I've sort of picked Come and Get It by Kylie Reid for the same reasons that hopefully the author has written a second great book that would be great for a book club. So there is that. Then I've got 2 books coming up for my Patreon book club. So this month the theme was travel, and we're going to be reading Abroad in Japan by Chris Broad. This is his memoir of living in a rural, I think he sort of travels all around Japan. So also, the reason this video is so dark is because of the closed blinds. So if you're thinking, oh, maybe Laura needs to adjust the settings on her camera, I do not. It's just lovely and dark and cool in here. So that's why I'm squinting to read the back of these books as well. Chris Broad landed in a rural village in northern Japan. He wondered if he'd made a huge mistake. With no knowledge of the language and 0 teaching experience, was he about to be the most quickly fired English teacher in Japan's history? Oh, so this charts a decade of Chris living in Japan and the chaos and culture clash that will come with it. Packed with hilarious and fascinating stories, this book seeks out to unravel one of the world's most complex cultures. Oh, spanning 10 years and all 47 prefectures, Chris takes us from the lush rice fields of the countryside to the frenetic neon streets of Tokyo. There we go. So that sounds great, doesn't it? And then the book that we're reading in July, because in July we always read a book that's over 500 pages, we're reading The Whalebone Theatre by Joanna Quinn. And it says, this is the story of an old English manor house by the sea, with crumbling chimneys, draping ivy, and a library full of dusty hardbacks. It's the story of the 3 children who grow up there and the adventures they create for themselves while the grown-ups entertain endless party guests. The worlds they imagine from books they aren't supposed to read, and the lessons they learn from eavesdropping through oak-panelled doors. That sounds so rich with description. This is the story of a whale that washes up on a beach, whose bones are claimed by a 12-year-old girl with big ambitions and an even bigger imagination. And Burp, an unwanted orphan who grows into an unmarriageable young woman, chafing under the confines of her traditional upbringing and fiercely determined to do things differently. But far away from the big house, as the children grow into adulthood, another story has been unfolding in the wings. And when the war finally takes centre stage, the siblings find themselves cast, unrehearsed, into roles they never expected to play. There we go. So yeah, that sounds great. So if you're interested in reading either of those books, there is still time to join for Patreon Book Club. It's always linked down below. This is the book we're reading in June, and we meet on the last Sunday of the month. It's the book we're reading in June, and this is the book we're reading in July. So yeah, and there's lots more fun to come for the year. But yeah, we go. That's that. And then the last book club book is, I've joined an in real life book club, and also this is the first book club that I've ever been a part of where I haven't run it. So it's very exciting. I've joined a book club at my local library. It's a WI book club, and I went last month for the first time, and we were discussing The Phoenix Ballroom by Ruth Hogan. Now, excitingly, the book this month is Kate Atkinson's Behind the Scenes at the Museum, which is a book that I have read and loved. I read it like right at the beginning of me doing BookTube. It was maybe the first Kate Atkinson book I'd read, and it's definitely been due a reread, so I've just had to change my battery. So whatever I was saying saying about Kate Atkinson. I'm very, very excited to reread this. And from what I remember, it's about a particular family. And I remember there being very much a big, is this a spoiler? Like a big significance around a special knife that they used to cut a birthday cake with. But I don't remember much else about it apart from that. But I remember really enjoying it. So very, very much looking forward to getting to this again. Then I've got hardbacks. Let's go for hardbacks. So David and I had a wonderful 3 weeks watching the programme Spring Watch, which is something that the BBC here in the UK put on seasonally, and it's a nature programme and it's on 4 nights a week. It's hosted by Chris Packham and Michaela Strachan. And they talk about the sort of seasonal nature that's going on, and it's wonderful. It's honestly some of the best telly I've watched this year, and I had a wonderful time. And I've always been sort of had a vested interest in birds. I used to go bird watching a bit when I was younger with my great uncle, and yeah, it's just something I really, really enjoy, and David and I had a lovely time. And I remember that there was a book on my shelf which was about migratory birds. So I pulled that off the shelf, and that's A World on the Wing, The Global Odyssey of Migratory Birds. This is by Scott Wiedensoul, and yeah, I think I'm going to sort of dip in and out of this as the summer goes by, but yeah, it's about bird migration and why that happens and the birds that do that. And yeah, it's also saying, sort of talking more specifically about the past 2 decades, which have shown an explosion in the understanding of the almost unfathomable feats of endurance and complexity involved in bird migration, yet the science that informs these majestic journeys is still relatively in its infancy. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it, and it's got pictures of birds in it as well. Oh, and a picture of a grizzly bear that looks like a polar bear. So yeah, so I'll be going into that. And then I got sent this by the publisher. This is new this year, and for some reason, as soon as it arrived, I was like, summer reading. I'm gonna have a great time reading this. Careless People: A Story of Where I Used to Work, Power, Greed and Madness by Sarah Wynne Williams, and this is the sort of expose on Meta and what it's like to work for that company and Facebook. And yeah, Sarah Wynne Williams is a young diplomat from New Zealand. A pitch for her for her dream job. She saw Facebook's potential and knew it could change the world for the better. But when she got there and rose to the top ranks, things turned out a little different. So yeah, it's about the sort of wild schemes and stuff that goes on behind the scenes there. And yeah, I've been really looking forward to reading this, and when I got it, I was like, summer reading. The next one I've got is one that when I was browsing my shelves, I was like, oh yeah, I can't believe I haven't read that yet. This might be audiobook for me, but this is The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama, Overcoming in Uncertain Times. I very much enjoyed Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, and yeah, I've been meaning to get to this at some point. So yeah, like I said, this might go, because I listened to Becoming as an audiobook because Michelle narrates it, and I think maybe I'll go to that as an audio as well. But yeah, very excited to get to that as well. I enjoyed that a lot. So then let's talk about August for a bit. So within the summer, August exists. You all know about August, and August, I'm really looking forward to August. In that I've created a sort of little haven in the middle of summer with a little bit of rest, and David and I are going away for a week. So yeah, I won't be on BookTube during August. I've decided to take the month off as a rest. I did that last year in June. I tend to do it. It's good. I think it's good to take a break from everything. I know it's good to take a break from everything. And I think creativity, for me, creativity flows, and I get ideas of videos that I want to make, and it gives me space to sort of read different things and not be sort of prescribed by what I might be reading for the channel. I don't review the books that I read in August, even on Instagram. I just put up pictures of them to sort of put them as part of what, so that I know what I've read. Yeah, and like I said, I'm going away for a week with David. We're very excited. We're going to be eating some lovely food that time and just trying to enjoy the summer and have a lovely time together. But I picked, well, both of these books came from a community library when I was out for a walk with my friend and her parents, and I thought the idea of taking a massive book, and this is massive, and also it's really heavy, so I don't know if the paper they've made it out of is also really heavy, but taking a massive book away with me for a week, and that being like my project for the week, is very exciting to me. And I've been meaning to read Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell for such a long time, by Susanna Clarke, who is the author of Piranesi, which I loved. It was one of my favourite books. I think it might even have been my favourite book of the year I read it, about 3 or 4 years ago. And then last year She wrote a little Christmas novella with like some beautiful illustrations. I can't think what it was called, something midwinter. But yeah, I've always meant to go back to this, and I've heard wonderful things about it. And I think if I've got a week off of work and I've got this book, which is going to be really heavy to lug around with me, then I can really commit some time to this. And I really love the feeling of being inside a book for so long. How long is this? God, it's almost 1,000 pages. Is it 1,000 pages? It is over 1,000 pages. God, I don't know that I've ever read a book over 1,000 pages. But being able to commit like some time to this and just having a wonderful time getting immersed in it, I'm really, really, really looking forward to that. So there we go. I guess let's learn about the play. I know it's historical fiction. 1806, very historical. England is beleaguered by the long war with Napoleon, and centuries have passed since practical magicians faded into the nation's past. But scholars of this glorious history discover that one remains, the reclusive Mr. Norrell, whose displays of magic send a thrill through the country. Proceeding to London, he raises a beautiful woman from the dead and summons an army of ghostly ships to terrify the French. Yet the cautious, fussy Norrell is challenged by the emergence of another magician, the brilliant novice Jonathan Strange. Young, handsome and daring, Strange is the very antithesis, I like to say antithesis, of Norrell. So begins a dangerous battle between these two great men, which overwhelms them, but that between England and France, and their own obsessions and secret dabblings with the dark arts that are going to cause more trouble than they can imagine. I'm just going to read the first page just to get myself even more. And also, this is quite exciting because it's illustrated as well. Like, and their illustrations, they remind me of sort of like the illustrations that I've seen in like Dickens books. So yeah. The illustrations are done by Portia Rosenberg. It's set into volumes. Okay, volume 1, Mr. Norrell. He hardly ever spoke of magic, and when he did, it was like a history lesson, and no one could bear to listen to him. 1. The Library at Hertview. Autumn 1806 to January 1807. Some years ago, there was in the city of York a society of magicians. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited. And then I'm just going to take with me as a sort of like insurance policy book, because where we're going, there are bookshops and like access to libraries and stuff like that, so I'll be able to probably get more books. And I'm not expecting to read much more than this that week. But on that same trip to the community library, I also picked up The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood, and I just thought a bit of fun romance to read in the summer is probably a lovely thing to do. So this is about Olive Smith, who's a third-year PhD candidate. And she doesn't believe in lasting romantic relationships, but her best friend does, and that's what got her into this situation. Convincing Anne that Olive is on her way to happily ever after was always going to be tough. Scientists require proof. So like any self-respecting woman, Olive panics and kisses the first man she sees. That man is none other than Adam Coulson, a young hotshot professor and well-known ass. Which is why Olive is positively flawed when he agrees to keep her charade as a secret and be her fake boyfriend stuff. But when a big science conference goes haywire and Adam surprises her again with his unyielding support and his unyielding abs, hubba hubba, their little experiment feels dangerously close to combustion. Olive soon discovers that the one thing more complicated than a hypothesis on love is putting her own heart under the microscope. So yeah, so I've bought that as a sort of insurance, but yeah, this is what I'm going to be reading that week that we go away, and I'm so looking forward to it. And then I've got sort of like general stuff that I wanted to read this summer. First of all, I've got The Offing by Benjamin Myers, and this is a book that I've owned for a few summers. I believe somebody bought it for me from my wish list, which is lovely. It's set in the summer, so which is why I've been holding off to read it in the summer, and then summer comes and goes and I miss it. But this is set in a summer following the Second World War. Robert Appleyard sets out on foot from his Durham village. 16 and the son of a coal miner, he makes his way across the northern countryside until he reaches the former smuggling village of Robin Hood's Bay. There he meets Dulcie, an eccentric, worldly older woman who lives in a ramshackle cottage facing out to sea, and she introduces him to the pleasures of rich food, sea swimming, sunburn and poetry. The two come from different worlds, yet as the summer months pass, they form an unlikely friendship that will profoundly alter their lives. And that just sounds lovely. So yeah, we'll get to that. Then I've got a book of food fiction, because I just love reading about food, and that feels summery to me, and there was just something about this front cover that felt very sort of summer holidays. So it says, as a child, oh, this is a memoir. As a child, Orr Rosenboim's knowledge of her family history was based on the food her grandmothers cooked for her. Round needlatch balls in hot chicken broth, cinnamon-scented noodle kugel, stuffed vine leaves, herby green rice with a squeeze of fresh lemon juice, and aubergine in tomato sauce. I love aubergine. She knew that her family had a complex past, but it was only reading her grandmother's recipe books after they both died that she began to explore the past for the first time. The result is a vivid chronicle of the displacement and escape, retracing the complex network of journeys from her family took from Samarkand and Riga to Jerusalem and Tel Aviv in search of safety and a better life, punctuated by the food they ate and cooked along the way. Today, through these journeys, this would be a long tradition of migration, would be almost impossible. A beguiling mix of history, memoir, travel and recipes, Air and Love is also a freshly and deeply human retelling of some of the major stories of the 20th century. There we go, food. I love reading that involves food, which is why I want to read this. This is another memoir. I Want to Die, but I also want to eat. I think this is spelled Tteobokki by Baek Sahi, and this has been translated by Anton Her. This is a big bestseller in Korea, and I got sent the approved copy of it, the finished copy of it. So this, it says here, Baek Sahi is a successful young social media director at a publishing house when she begins to see a psychiatrist about her, what to call it, depression. She feels persistently anxious, endlessly self-doubting and also highly judgmental of others. She hides her feelings well at work and with friends, adept at performing the ease her lifestyle demands. The effort is exhausting, overwhelming and keeps her from forming proper relationships. This can't be normal. But if she's so hopeless, why can she always summon a desire for her favourite street food, a hot spicy rice cake, Tteobokki? Is this just what life is like? So there we go. That's jumping out. So the next one is The Axeman's Carnival by Catherine Chidgey, and I am currently reading The Book of Guilt, which is Catherine Chidgey's newest book that came out this month, and it's really, really, really good. It's reminding me a little bit, I think of the way that things are sort of unravelling, it's reminding me a little bit of Claire Chambers's book that I read at the beginning of the year, that's bloody name I've completely forgot. What was it called? Oh my God, why can't I remember that? Why can't I remember that? Is it because it's so hot? Shy Creatures. Thank you. I think because of the way things are unfolding, that's the way it's reminded me of that. But yeah, I'm reading that and I'm loving it. And I've really enjoyed all of Catherine Chidgey's books. I've also read Pet, and I've also read... it will tell me in here. Another one that's got an unusual name. Oh, there's loads more than I thought. Remote Sympathy. So I've read I'm going to have read the 4 most recent ones, but there's loads more to read. And yeah, they're always about such different subjects. And that is sort of highlighted in the fact that this book is about a woman who is in a abusive relationship, and she befriends a magpie. And that's sort of like what this book is about, and I'm really looking forward to reading it because I love her writing, and I'm really pleased that I'm getting to read 2 of her books in potentially one summer. So there we go. Then I've got a tasty little bit of historical fiction which has been on my shelves for a while. This came out in April 2022. This is The Attic Child by Lola J, and I think I popped it on my shelf and forgotten about it really, because and what's drawn me to it at this point is that I went to the Tate Britain earlier this year and had a lovely day, lovely morning, just sort of looking around the Tate Britain and looking at the paintings. I went on one of their their free tours. I will link the video down below where I go there. And yeah, it was just brilliant. And this book really spoke to me because in 2016, Lola J visited an exhibition at the National Portrait Gallery where she came across photographs of Ngugu Mnhali, a young African boy taken from his homeland against his will to be a companion to the explorer of Henry Morton Stanley. Struck by the sadness and strength in Ngugu's eyes, Lola was inspired to write her first epic historical novel, The Attic Child, here it is, to explore this overlooked part of Black British history and weave a tale of love and loss, identity and belonging. In researching, she uncovered a life that was impacted by trauma and hopelessness and became determined that her fictional reimagining of his story would offer an alternative ending, one of survival, full of love, joy and hope. And just that whole process of finding connection with this painting and wanting to give that boy in the painting a life, and then to reimagine that life and fill it with, like we've said here, love, joy and hope. Oh, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it, very, very excited about it. So yeah, that will be added on. And then the last one is one that was also bought for me from my wish list, and just a few people have said to me, oh, I think you'd really enjoy this, so this is going on the old TBR as well. The Nasser family, a Syrian mother, a Lebanese father and 3 American children, is spread across the globe. Still, they've always had their ancestral home in Beirut, but following his father's recent death, Idris, the family's new patriarch, has decided to sell. They convene in Beirut, united against Idris in a fight for the house. They all have secrets, lost loves, bitter jealousies, abandoned passions, deep-set shame that distance has helped smother. But in a city smouldering with the legacy of war, the changing landscape of refugees, religious tension and political protest, their secrets ignite, imperiling the fragile ties that hold this family together. Teeming with wisdom, warmth and characters born of remarkable human insight, award-winning author Al-Yan shows us again that fiction is often the best filter for the real world around us. That sounds great too. So those are the books that I plan to read this summer. Now there is an additional summer reading challenge, if I could just give you a little glimpse of something, that's going to be going on over on my Instagram, which I'm hoping will start today. So you're seeing this, she's chatting as she's getting up, you're seeing this on Sunday morning probably, and Sunday evening, every Sunday evening, I'm going to be, let me get the books and then we'll talk it through rather than me being this close to you the whole time. I'm not going to show you the books because they're going to be unravelled sort of every week on Instagram, but throughout the summer I'm going to be reading one book per week, Sunday to Sunday, and chatting about it on Instagram. And it's a female author from every decade, starting from the 1900s, the 1990s, 1900s, and working my way through 12 books this sort of summer into September. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing it. It's inspired by a bookish challenge I saw on Instagram that Stephen, I can't think of his name. It's the heat, guys. Forgive me, the heat is making my brain turn to soup. Incidentally, I've been eating a delicious, delicious amount of Stephen J. Rees. Delicious amount of gazpacho so far this year. Having a lovely time. Stephen J. Rees did a reading challenge whereby he got his wife to get him a book from each decade, and he unwrapped them. So he did that as a blind challenge because he didn't know the books that he was going to be reading, but I've picked these myself. But every Sunday I'll be announcing the book that I'm going to be reading that week. People can read along with me if they'd like to, and then I'll be talking about it the following Sunday and then announcing the following book. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that. And yeah, it was supposed to start last week, but I wasn't feeling very well. So that's why. So yes, lots and lots of lovely reading for the summer. How exciting is all this? So yeah, let me know what your reading plans are for the summer. Let me know if you've read any of these, what you'd prioritise, and I'll see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Fan is going back on. Goodbye.